Today is Wednesday, April 15th at 14:18 hours. Detective Moffat, in regards to case number 19-83744, going to be contacting Christina Atwood in regards to this case. How's it going?
Good,
Is Christina around?
Well, sure. What's up?
This is Detective. I'm Detective Moffat, Chandler PD. I'm just doing a follow-up on a case, and
Oh, jeez. Is it Wayne Dory? Whatever it is.
it is.
It is. Come on in, sir.
We're just, come on in.
Okay.
Christina.
My office is a mess, and we're just kind of getting some cooking and stuff. But please come and sit down. My dog will sniff at you.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Let's turn in here also.
Come on, dog. You go outside. Out. Out.
This is to keep our dogs off our
Come
couch.
on.
No problem.
Outside, dog. Let's go. Out. Out.
So, how do you know Lori?
Church.
Church? Okay.
That met her at church.
How long have you known her?
It's been, how many
Can I give you a
years?
drink, guys?
I'm okay, thank you.
Christina.
My jug is over there somewhere.
So we've probably known Lori for,
How many years has it been since?
well, it's only been
Probably
since we
7
moved down
years.
here.
7 years?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know Chad?
Not at all.
Okay.
I met him one time at my sister's ward. He goes to church with my sister in Idaho. And I met him just casually. That's the only time.
Okay, so you have a sister that lives in Rexburg or that area?
In Salem.
Salem?
Yeah.
Well, in New Dale, too.
Yeah, I've got sisters all around, but
I was just, yeah.
yeah.
So you actually met him up in Idaho?
Yeah.
Okay. When's, obviously before all this stuff happened, when was the last time that you talked to Lori?
June.
June? What was that conversation like or about?
I had gone to visit her. I was kind of concerned about some of the stuff that she was talking about, saying, and so I just had a visit there and said, you know, I'm a little concerned about you.
Okay.
What's going on? And I reached out to her multiple times after that, and she really didn't respond to me much at all. So, like, I heard about her husband's death, and I left her a message and reached out to her multiple times, and then texted her a few times. She may have texted back once or twice, but if she did, it was very, very short.
Okay.
And so she really hasn't spoke to me since June.
Okay. When you said you were concerned about her behavior, was there, I guess what brought that on?
Well, actually, it wasn't. So I had never met her brother Alex until like a week, like a couple days before that. And I'd gone home to visit. I'd been invited over to visit with her and some ladies, and he was there. And just the way that they were talking, I just felt it was not appropriate.
Okay.
So,
She had gone over for a religious discussion,
and it just
and it had gotten into the realms of rude.
yeah, just,
And that's not equal. Rude and religious discussions, although maybe, they're not the same, so it left a bad.
Okay.
I know.
Gotcha. Did they ever get into any of the I guess, are you guys LDS?
You have.
Okay. Did she ever get into the kind of extraordinary outside of the LDS
That's the
faith?
pieces and parts that got weird, and that was the end of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Did you ever hear any discussion between her and Alex, or I guess who were the other ladies?
Because I've only ever met Alex the one time.
Okay.
So no.
So I guess in the conversation that got rude, was there?
It was just weird.
Okay. Do you remember any of the context or anything that made it weird for you?
Well, Lori felt like her husband wasn't her husband, like he wasn't, like he was possessed or something.
Okay.
Did she say something to that effect?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say, no, don't.
Yeah, and so and her brother was just kind of aggressive about it, like what I took considerable stress at was the fact that he was casually like, well, he just needs to die kind of thing, and I'm like, totally not appropriate. So after that happened, I went back a day or two later.
Was this at their house that she rented it here, or where did you guys meet at?
It was at her friend Zulema's.
Okay.
And so I was really upset by it, so I just texted her and said, Lori, I need to visit with you because I think this is really inappropriate. And so I went and told her, and I said, you can't be casual, stuff like that. You can't, it's not okay to talk about that in that context. Like, I don't know your brother. She's like, oh, you just know me. I'm super dramatic, and so is he, and he didn't mean anything by it. And so I just said, well, like, if something were to happen to your husband, I'd want to go talk to the police. If this is like, you can't talk about that, and like, that's not okay.
Okay.
And so I was she said, no, not at all. We're just, being dramatic. And that was the end of it.
Okay. When you had that follow-up conversation with her, was that over the phone or was that in person?
It was at her home. No, it was at her brother's home in Queen Creek.
Okay.
Where she was staying at the time. So, like, and before that time, like, I had never been to her house that was, I'd been to the big house off of Higley.
Okay.
But I hadn't been to the in-between house because she was really sporadic in communication. And
Okay.
kind of all over the place.
How close were you guys prior to this?
Like, I didn't know her well at all before she moved to Hawaii. When we went to Hawaii as a
So I
family
had known
visit.
her, she was in the primary of our ward, and so was I.
Okay.
She was the music singer and stuff like that, and then she moved out to Hawaii.
And we had a really great visit in Hawaii. And
So we went to Hawaii for a vacation just of our own families, and while she was there, we went and left a surfboard that we had bought at Costco because it was cheaper than renting.
Okay.
We gave it to them.
we just had a really nice
Had a
visit.
half-day visit, whatever it was. It was a few hours in the afternoon, and then we left, and that was that.
Was Charles there then?
No, he was
Okay,
in
he
Texas
was
at the time.
traveling for work?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else that you could think of, I guess now hindsight being what it is, and all of these active
So
investigations?
I didn't get a chance to visit with Lori after her husband died.
Okay.
And then because my sister's in the ward with Chad Daybell, I'd been at Harvest and
Over in Idaho.
I had no idea she'd moved to Idaho. No idea where she was.
Okay.
And had heard that Chad Daybell's wife had died. And so my sister called me and she's like, hey, Ruth, or Christina, my sister's name is Ruth, I just heard that Chad's wife died. You know, that guy introduced you to a church. I said, oh yeah, that's my friend Lori's friend. And so she told me about it. So I texted Lori and tried to call her, and I didn't say, I just said, I heard something and I want to visit with you. If you have a chance, call me. But she never ever responded.
Never responded.
So I had no idea she was even living there.
Okay.
Or that she'd married him, or...
Did you know her and Chad were friends prior to, or I guess by the time you were introduced?
She knew him, yeah.
Okay. How did you know that? Through the...
Because, just in visiting with her, she'd given me a couple of his books to read. And so, and then my sister had brought it up one time that there was this guy that wrote these books. I said, oh, my friend gave me his book. And so that's how I made that connection. So then when I met him in the summer, it was just like,
wrote the book.
my friend lent me your book, you know?
Gotcha.
And that was about it.
But there wasn't a lot more conversation about Chad and Lori and their relationship prior to this or anything else that? It was just a friend? Okay.
Yeah, just friends. There wasn't anything else that I knew.
Gotcha. Like I said, is there anything else, I guess, now looking back that you go, oh man, that's really strange, or...
I'm upset about all of it, and I have...
She's lost sleep at nights thinking you guys are going to come holler her away. I said, Chris, when they come, just talk to them. I'm just teasing.
No, but so Melanie Gibb is a friend of hers. she has reached out a couple times and wanted to visit, and I haven't even read the news articles. Like, it just kind of makes me sick, and I haven't even really wanted to. So when she asked if I wanted to get together and visit, I just said I really don't. Like, I don't want to talk to you about anything that you haven't talked to the police. And she said, I've told the police every single thing I can think of.
Yeah, we've talked to her on several different occasions. So
I just said I don't really want to get
Does
into
Melanie
it.
the niece or the?
No,
that's
her friend.
Yeah, there's two Melanies.
So, really, none of those ladies that, like, we were getting together and just doing, like, scripture discussions and stuff, and we really haven't had anything to do.
Did you guys have any mutual friends besides? Did you know Zulema prior to this?
No, not at all.
Okay, so that was your first time basically going to Zulema. Was that?
No, I'd gone one other time to Zulema's. I met her last March. Melanie, and then Melanie, her niece.
Okay.
And then my friend Nicole, who was also in the ward with me, so like we knew, the three of us knew from her from here. And the day that I was upset about the whole thing and just kind of was done with it was when I met her brother Alex. There was a neighbor, somebody that had been invited. Her name was Julia, I want to say.
Okay.
Julia or something. And so that's the only other. Oh, and Serena Sharp.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's it.
So, you know Serena and Nicole through church?
Yes. Well,
okay.
Serena was introduced to us by Lori.
Okay.
And Serena's still, like, I communicate with Serena, and Nicole's my best friend.
I mean, we're good
so
friends.
We're good friends with the Sharps
them.
and with the Earls.
Okay.
And they haven't had any contact either.
They haven't?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm sure they'd welcome
so
or whatever.
You, Nicole, and Serena,
yeah.
and then Lori kind of were all, I guess, acquaintances, or you're friends with them, but
yeah.
Lori became friends through church, and that's kind of how. So that's part of the reason that I'm here, and I'm sure you might have, if you haven't seen the news article, and now it's I don't need to. I'll just hand this to you. This is the kind of their light and dark scale rating and everything else, and
light and dark scale.
Yeah, they have, and like the past lives that everybody's lived, and the reason
this
that
is completely inconsistent with any of our church's beliefs.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope you know that. I mean, you know.
Yeah, well,
obviously,
I'm
anything
very
you're doing is very inconsistent.
Yeah, very, very aware of it being on the outside, but your name. Serena's name and Nicole's name, those are the other two that are blocked off, are all there, that became part of this thing that they kind of have floating around, and that's how it came to be that we wanted to come out and talk to you.
Yeah.
Is just to see, I guess, you know.
Oh, I want to see what it has to say about Christina. Which one are you?
Yeah, yeah.
Lenania's daughter. Oh, granddaughter. Wow. Awesome. It's nice to know you. I'd like to know other things about your daughter, my prophet Jacob. Well, I gotta be nicer to you.
So the only thing that I would add is that when Nicole talked to Lori after my husband died.
Okay.
And she told Lori told Nicole that there had been that the whole thing that went down with Charles was that Charles had he and several others were planning to kill her, and that the day that he died, he'd left his phone in their home, and on the phone was this plans to kill Lori, and so that it was the fight broke out because Charles wanted his phone back, and she wanted to keep the phone that showed that he was trying to commit murder against her. And she told Nicole that Charles had cut her out of all the insurance and stuff. They were getting divorced, and that she wasn't getting any money, and she was left with all of the bills from his job, like their home business and everything. So she was in really, really bad shape financially, is what she was told.
Okay.
So what was interesting at Christmas time is my sister Ruth, because Chad's in her ward, her husband was in the bishopric, and he was like a clerk or something, and so in visiting with him, he had said, oh, my wife got a lot of money from her husband's death, then we have a house in Hawaii now, which didn't make any sense with what I'd heard, which is that she was stuck with all this debt. And she never had a house in Hawaii. She was renting, so it wasn't even like she had a house then. So it wasn't making sense with what was said.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Lots of
So
lying, obviously.
tons, apparently.
A lot.
Yeah,
Absolutely a lot.
There
Absolutely.
has to be with all this crap.
Okay. Anything else that you can think of that would be important for me in these cases? And unfortunately, I'm out of business cards, but I'll give you my desk phone number, and because something might pop into your mind, a week from now or a month from now, you go, oh man, I should, tell Nathan this, and I'll give that to you just so you have my contact information.
I don't know how it could have, what transpired. Like, none of it makes sense to me. It just makes me sick.
Yeah.
It's all absolutely insane.
That's a good way to put it.
I would have to say so.
It's a very good way to put it.
Officer, do they know where the kids are?
No.
Okay.
No.
I have lost track of hearing about it on the news one way or the other. We knew Tylee and what was the other little
JJ.
JJ.
Yeah.
And they were such sweet kids, wonderful people. Anyway, yeah, I'm sure you've heard that before. I just haven't heard if they found them or not. So
No, not yet. So,
obviously doesn't bode well.
no. All right, you guys. Well, I appreciate it.
Anything else that you think of?
Okay.